Nuzlocks. What are Nuzlocks? An aggressive testosterone junkie might call them a commando's journey through the depths of a jungle, in Pokémon sense. Or maybe dodging bullets in slow motion while wielding weapons you found along your way the Matrix style. Basically, you, the hero, are to beat your favorite Pokémon game by getting the first Pokémon from every route who, if it dies, moves to the Shadow Realm for all eternity. You are also banned from using items in battle, obliged to play on set mode, and, in case of you losing your party of 6 in a fight, go back to the beginning, you disgusting, meek, ugly animal. No one ever wants to see you again, until you step into a time chamber and change your fragile, unattractive, despicable character for the better. Am I right? So why is this channel Nuzlocke related? Because I wanted it to be. And is there additional lore, or am I going to make basic, patterned videos, one challenge after the other, until YouTube money allows me to finally move out of my parents' house at 26 years old? Of course there is. We here, dear observers, are going to add some spice to it one after the other. We are going to slap around some popular vanilla giants in the franchise, such as Pokémon Ruby, Pokémon Fire Red, Pokémon Soul Silver, Pokémon Platinum, Pokémon Black, Pokémon Black 2, Pokémon X, Pokémon Sun, and Pokémon Ultra Moon. Consider these challenges first bosses on our journey to becoming the Nuzlocke king of the world. The second level bosses will be the so-called difficulty RomHacks, made by modders such as Dryano, Bufflesoft, Skeely, and alike. We are first tackling Pokémon Renegade Platinum, followed by Pokémon Blaze Black 2 Redux, Pokémon Unbound, Insane Mode, and, for the final challenge, the latest giant of the franchise, Pokémon Run and Bun, made by Dexa. Therefore, don't be tasteless vermin, and join me on this epic adventure through new worlds, challenges and friendships, on the road to becoming the very best that no one ever was. Our first obstacle is Pokémon Ruby, that turned out to be a complete massacre. Anyhow, my name is Lucky and I am the future. This handsome man here is Professor Birch, in charge of researching Pokémon in Hoenn. We all know him. I introduce myself to him and he welcomes me to the Hoenn region. I tell my mother about my plan of becoming the baddest of all badasses in the Nuzlocking world, after which he starts talking about my father like she's trying to trigger Oedipus in me on purpose. I roll up to my neighbor's house, meet a mid-bitch, and then save her father from being obliterated by a raccoon. He rewards me by gifting me my first Pokémon, a Torchic. I remove his daughter from the competition, after which the dynamic duo gifts me a Pokédex. My Freudian psyche once again gets triggered by meeting my dad in Petalburg City. He pretends to be the good guy and sends me to help out some local in catching his first Pokémon. After that, he provides some classic deadbeat advice, pretending he is the baddest motherfucker around, and not me. I pretend to listen and then head for glory. In Petalburg Woods I encounter a cuck and save him from an apparent criminal. He falls to his knees in an attempt to thank me, but I just walk away. The first gym leader is Roxanne, but, like a true Dementor, I absorb the life force from her and her Pokémon with my Shroomish, and take home what was always rightfully mine, the Stone Badge. My noble side once again comes out when I save an old man's Wingull from a Team Magma Grunt, which the fellow awards with a ride to do forward on his mini yacht, white supremacist Belinda. The second gym leader of the Hoenn region is a young man named Brawly. According to Bulbapedia, Brawly is the big wave in fighting. His strategy is described as one of direct physical moves. He is also deemed a deep thinker, always comparing the scene of battle to everyday life and vice versa. Having Beautifly made the battle easy because of his 4 times resistance to fighting. Second badge acquired. In Slateport City I once again face what the common man would call evil, Team Magma. I easily slap around 2 grunts and manage to summon their leader, Maxie. He threatens to kill me and my friend, Captain Stern, runs away. May fights me on the next route and I, by listening to YouTube content and clicking buttons, manage to lose Nicki Minaj, my Makuhita, to May's Marshtomp. Death number 1 of the Mega Challenge. The next gym leader is Watson, the master of electric types. After briefly threatening to electrify me, he sends out his first Pokémon, Magnemite. I use Lanoon to set up Mud Sport, weakening all of Master's future electric type attacks. Shocked at this masterful move, he starts panicking and spamming Sparks, possibly out of spite. I manage to remove Magnemite with my Lanoon, and do very good damage to the Voltorb after. I didn't think Voltorb would have self-destruct this early, turns out it has. Breloom barely absorbs the explosion, which leaves only Magneton. I decide to risk crits with my chicken, and it pays off because he did not go for another shock wave. Third badge. The event at Meteor Falls makes me realize how deep I am in the Team Magma, Aqua Beef, and, before I knew it, I ended up on top of a volcano trying to push Magma leader Maxie into the molten lava for some LOLs and KEKWs. Playing on speed up based on wanting to finish this video fast once again bit a chunk of my ass off. I rolled up to the fight with two grass types, one of which was Nuzleaf, a Plusle, and a Mytiana, like it can do anything but intimidate. Plusle manages to fail at killing Mytiana, which forces a switch into my chicken. Next up is Camerupt. I switch to Lil Timmy on the Magnitude and use Fake Out. Then I go to Lanoon on the Ember, use Headbutt, then go back to Mytiana. She hits a tackle for pitiful damage and almost dies. He heals, I shit my pants and throw a chicken at him. Magnitude, Lil Timmy Fake Out, chicken again on the Ember. I make a mistake of going to Breloom on Magnitude. Had I went to Lil Timmy and just used another Fake Out, then pivoted through chicken, Breloom could have come in on the next Magnitude and send the camel back to United Arab Emirates. Instead, friends die, and we have to accept it. Lanoon then lucks out with two headbutt flinches and kills the camel. Last Pokemon is Crobat. I decide to intimidate with Mythina and Nuzleaf and then sack them both. Intimidate made possible for Lanoon to live one wing attack and drop a headbutt, after which Plusle sent the bat to the Shadow Realm. Archie tries to recruit me after the bloodshed, so I give him my phone number and move on. The fourth gym leader is Flannery, a fire-type trainer. I easily beat her by spamming Bubble Beams with Tentacool and risking a Body Slam critical hit on the last Pokemon, Torkoal. 4 badges. The next gym leader is my father. I forgot what he starts in this game, so I threw my Gyarados at him for Intimidate. I switch to Machoke, set up one Bulk Up and nuke him with Low Kick. Now here. I remembered that the second Slaking only spams Focus Punch, so I risked crit against Vigoroth on a sudden surge of feeling invincible. Still, I managed to finish Vigoroth with my Gyarados and fuck up the Slaking using Sand Slash. My father crumbled beneath my feet and told me I am free to marry my mother if I chose to which I said she's long expired. 5 badges. After that I press big, red button for my new friend Watson in Mauville, and proceed to dominate a handful of Team Magma grunts to take over the Weather Institute. The fight with Winona was sketchy, but still easy. The lead Swallow I took out with Plusle and Gyarados. Electrode got rid of Pelipper. I switched to Golbat on Alteria's Earthquake, then used Confuse Ray to partially stop her from Dragon Dancing. Confusion self-hits allowed me to beat her with Golbat and Swallow. Electrode finished the last Pokemon, Skarmory, and I got myself the 6th badge. After meeting Maxie on Empty Pyre, and swiftly disposing of May's corpse in front of Lily Cove department store, I barge in on 2 Magma grunts speaking about how Maxie is invading Slateport or something. In Slateport, I found Captain Stern singing My Delilah to a crowd of normies, feeding off their attention. After his hideous performance, we heard someone calling another someone a CUCK inside the shipyard. To our surprise, we find Maxie and one of his captains nicking Stern's submarine and showing us the finger while they flee the scene. I follow them back to their hideout in Lily Cove, just to find out that the grunts were only stalling for time, and Maxie is long gone to some underwater cave. While researching Moe's Deep City, I found this pointless door that intrigued me. They seem to be locked. The next gym leaders are Tate and Liza. I start with Absol and Dusclops, sure of my inevitable triumph. I make a mistake of attacking Solrock first, since Lunatone starts spamming Calm Minds. After my Mons failed in killing Solrock, the bastards heal, and the Moon sends Dusclops to where he came from. I manage to finish Solrock on the next turn and Lunatone Calm Minds again. Lunatone sleeps Absol, and Electrode switch and enables me to set up Light Screen. I go to Altaria to take one Psychic, and try to kill the beast by doubling up. Altaria dies. I switch to Azumarill and start pressing buttons. Before dying, Lunatone also claims my Gyarados, but at least we won. 7 badges. Remember the underwater cave Maxie's admin was talking about? This is what I found there. Turns out that the big boy is Maxie's lost love or something, because he appears out of nowhere and starts freaking out on me. Then his smartphone starts emitting a liberal light, which makes the behemoth jump up from the cave in an attempt to destroy the world. The task of saving humanity falls on me, the least of all humanitarians. Still, I roll up to some cave in Sootopolis and catch the behemoth, which turns out to be the recipe. The final gym leader is Wallace, master of water types. I finish the lead love disc with Electrode, then switch to Swellow on a coming earthquake from Whiscash. I slap a couple of flies on him, then switch to Vileplume to finish him off. I finish Celio and Seaking with Lantern, confuse Milotic because I ran out of Spark PP, and do some damage before he freezes me. I try to kill with Electrode, but he recovers. I switch to Sharpedo, he freezes. Panic kicks in. I start heavily sensing the end. Tentacruel does very little, then he knocks the spark out of my Vileplume with Ice Beam. Had it been Surf, I had a chance. Electrode TB fails at critting, so I'm basically cooked. I try the double team play with Swellow, and almost kill the animal, but in vain. The bully then proceeds to delete my whole team and I, for the first time in this mega challenge, find out what's it like. Attempt 1 ends, and we are forced to start over.
You got a choice. You got talent. You got a chance, and I want to hear about your environment, what your mama didn't give you and the white man won't give you no shot. You got a chance. Use it while you're still alive. You don't know what death is. You have no idea what death is. Make a decision.
Attempt 2, I take the Mudkip. The May fight above Slateport claims again. This time I forgot Grovyle has pursuit, so I lose my Wingull. Then Flannery's Torkoal lives on 1 horsepower and crits Flail to murder my Marshtomp. He must have sensed great loneliness coming in the Shadow Realm, since he also took my Lanoon with him. Attempt 2, I came for blood. The true key was getting Magneton in New Mauville instead of Electrode, so him and Crobat basically swept the fight. On to the Pokemon League. Or it would be, hadn't I forgotten one thing, the little kid. The fight with him turned out to be the craziest fight of all time. Here's some cyberpunk music so you can enjoy it for yourselves. And now for the team I chose for the first Elite Four of this Mega Challenge. The first Elite Four member is Sydney, who wields dark types. My strategy was simple: Swords Dance sweep with Absol. I set up 2, miss the first slash, and then find out the Hound has Roar. Fine. I start slapping bitches around with Hariyama instead. I KO 4 of them, then switch to Gyarados on the Sharpedo. 1 down, 3 more. Second is Phoebe, the Ghost-type trainer. I equip Persim Berry to Absol, assuming something will try and confuse me, and just murdered her entire team with Swords Dance Shadow Ball. 3 to go. The next bitch is the Ice-type master. A Spear Berry defrosts my Hariyama against the Glalie, so I managed to kill the Celio after also. On the next Celio, I switch to Thick Fat Grumpig and start setting up Calm Minds. I managed to kill him through the Attract, then do the same to Glalie. Wall Rain out, I switch to Tentacruel. I get paralyzed and switch to Illumise. I wanted to heal Hariyama with Wish, but forgot you have to wait for 1 turn. Yeah. I healed Grumpig. Gyarados then lives Blizzard on 1 horsepower and I barely defeat Glacia. The last asshole is Hugh Hefner, wielding dragon types. My original desire was somewhat of a sweep with Calm Mind Grumpig, which did not occur. Instead, I started ice beaming the bastards with Gyarados, which worked fine. I switched to Tento on the Mints for the final ice beam. In the champion room, I found Steven Stone and shat my pants immediately. Namely, Steven is the master of Steel-type Pokemon, which meant my asshole was likely to be penetrated. I resorted to pussy tactics and set up 2 Dragon Dances on the lead with Gyarados. This turned out to be a waste, since Stevie switched to Claydol and destroyed Gyarados. I was sure I can set up 1 Calm Mind with Grumpig. This happened. Tenta killed the next 2, then the bully came. I charmed him and stalled a bit with Illumise, but then Hitler came and murdered the rest of my team. Once again, this game dominated me, and I was forced to go back to my hometown as a laughingstock and try again and again and again, until my fingernails start bleeding, and my eyes explode in one last fit of excitement, rage, and/or agony. Attempt 3. Attempt 3, I had a disgusting fight against Norman. In my defense, I played this part the same night/morning I dropped to the Elite Four, so it was already around 5 a.m. at this point. First, I almost dropped Roid Rage the Machoke for not having low kick for a 1-hit KO on Slaking. Then I yawned Vigorotoff with my Swalot, not knowing the monkey has Vital Spirit as his ability. Then I got crit with Slash on Lanoon, and had to sack it for survival. Then Secret Power paralyzed the Guts Slaking, which I realized only after Facade sent my Gyarados to the Sevii Islands. Then Revenge failed to get the kill, so I had to sack Roid Rage for the victory. This man better start paying alimony. The next fiasco came after Endeavor from Winona's Swallow nuked half of my team and ended Marshtomp's career. Having only 3 Mons with HP left, and needing 1 for the Altaria and 1 for Skarmory, I had to resort do double team strats with Swallow. I also deleted Wing Attack by accident. Still, I managed to defeat the Pelipper and get Skarmory low enough with my own Endeavor. Manectric finishes the Skarmory and manages to paralyze Altaria for Grumpig to annoy her to death. The Tate and Liza fight went even worse. Frankly, I wasn't even looking at the screen. Solrock set up Sunny Day and Lunatone started spamming Calm Minds. Turns out 4 times effective Solar Beam kills Swampert. Next turn my Crawdaunt goes to sleep and Bubble Beam from Azumarill does 3 damage. I switch to Slaking and Dusclops, asleep, and decide to yawn the Solrock. Dusclops manages to wake up and kill Lunatone with Shadow Punch. Solrock then falls asleep and I win the fight, barely. The Wallace fight went good enough. I dropped the lead Lovedust with Manectric, Whiscash with Slaking, Celio and Seaking with Lantern, and Milotic with Lantern. To enhance my Pokemon League performance, I decide to pop some shrooms with Weird Al Yankovic minutes before the final act. This is the team of assassins I chose for this Elite Four attempt. This time I tried to sweep Sydney with Swords Dance Crawdaunt, but was too slow to execute. Pelipper did Cacturne, Lantern did Sharpedo. Crawdaunt and Azumarill did Absol, after which Shiftry managed to set up a million double teams on me. I tried to break him with Crawdon, but I hurt myself in confusion after Swagger and just died. Luckily Pelipper managed to kill him with Ice Beam, but at this point I was already heavily tilted and ready to break my laptop in half. Phoebe's first Dusclops I killed with the Azumarill Surf after Curse. I was hoping to set Rain Dance and at least wipe 2 of her Pokemon with Manectric's Thunder. Thunder didn't kill and Banette burned me, so I had to switch. Pelipper barely killed the Dusclops, and Lantern dealt with Sableye. It's better not to say anything about this next play. Manectric finishes, but in my head, I was already on Route 1. Against Glacia, I start Manectric thinking she starts Celio. She doesn't. I immediately switch to Dusclops, forgetting he has Crunch. I wanted to save Lantern for Wall Rain, so I went back to Manectric. Then this happened. I'm going to cut the script here for a second, so I can show myself to the living room, where I plan on crashing all electronic devices with bare fists, until I force myself into a 5K debt for rebuying all the shit I smashed, since it is owned by my parents. Here's a short compilation of all deaths from Attempt 4. And now, noble observers, for the final act, I present you the team of bloodthirsty, methodical assassins of Attempt 4. Sydney was easy to take care of. Breloom rids us of Mytana and Absol, Ninetales of Shiftry, Gyarados nukes Sharpedo, Ninetales kills Cacturne. As for Phoebe, I used the first Dusclops to set up Dragon Dance with Gyarados. EQ then kills the first Banette. Tentacruel kills the Sableye, Ninetales does the second Banette. On the Dusclops, I set up Leech Seed with Breloom, pivot through Tenta to bait EQ, go to Gyarados for free, then repeat the process for Leech Seed Heal, until it is safe to finish the Ghost off with Surf from Tenta. Glacia time. Ninetales does the first Glalie, then Gyarados does the 2 Celos on a Dragon Dance boost. I burn the second Glalie with Dusclops, and finish him off with Ninetales. Walrein lives Giga Drains from Tenta on 1 horsepower. I switch after he paralyzes me with Body Slam. Gyra leaves the Walrus at 1 horsepower, then he freezes me with Blizzard. He then manages to paralyze my Manectric with Body Slam. At this point my best play is to risk a 50-50 for Blizzard on Breloom or for Surf on Ninetales. And, since Ninetales will be of more use against Steven's Metagross, I decide to switch to Breloom and hope he uses Surf. He doesn't. Ninetales finishes the big boy, and I move to Drake with 5 of my Mons. As for the Drake fight, Tentacruel just ice beams the happiness out of all of his Mons. That means that all we have left is the champion fight, finally. Overwhelmed with excitement and sexual creative energy, I go to the bathroom, bust a fat load across my toilet seat, don't even bother wiping it, and come back, ready to take this bitch on another round. I set up couple of Dragon Dances with Gyarados on the lead Skarmory, then finish him off with couple Thunderbolts. I switch to Duclops on Claydol and somewhat stall him with Toxic. I do the same with Cradily, which leaves Dusclops very low. Agron uses EQ, so I switch to Gyarados for free. I remembered this asshole has Thunder, so I switch to Manectric. I switch between the two for intimidates, hoping to land one shot with Manectric and then finish off with Tinta when attack drops make it so he can survive EQ. I wait for one turn too long, so Manectric now can't land a hit. Gyra uses one Surf, fails to kill and dies to Thunder. Manectric gets sacked for free Tinta switch, and Tinta does the job. Metagross comes and I sack the Dusclops I saved for a free switch to Ninetales. Ninetales does the job with a combo of Overheat and Flamethrower. I hoped Overheat would one-shot, but still. Ninetales does his final noble deed with one more Overheat on Armaldo, which enables Tinta to finish the bastard. Finally, we did it. I'm gonna be honest, this could have gone better if I hadn't played on 4 times speed up the whole time. My main mistake was always rooted in ADHD, was I focused the whole time. I am sure I'd do this run deathless the first time. I also learned about the importance of the snowball effect of deaths during runs. Little deaths accumulate and eat you alive later, because you lack the good encounters for few tough fights that these games have. All in all, the run was pretty fun, and I kinda got hooked to the satisfaction of beating a game. I literally came in my pants. Also, I got extremely hooked to the tactics part of Nuzlocking, even though I only experienced a glimpse of it in this vanilla game. I swore to myself I will beat this challenge thoroughly and flawlessly, and shall, in the end point, become crowned the Nuzlocke King of the world. I am very interested in seeing how much I will improve and change during this journey. As for you, dear challengers, don't pretend you don't like the concept and are not interested in this glorious adventure I shall embark on. Like the video and subscribe to my channel. Also, subscribe to my other channel, Gambits and Thieves Incorporated, where I create my own Pokemon world, through nuzlocking and world building with revamped versions of standard characters from Pokemon games. Basically, Nuzlockes, my own story, my own characters, something like the world of Quentin Tarantino, just much better. So, if you want this legendary content to keep coming, subscribe to both of my channels and comment with what you would like to see from us in the future. I have many projects in mind, one of which would be scientifical and theoretical analysis of nuzlocking techniques, as well as mixing life philosophy with nuzlocking lessons, of course, after I gain my straps in this world and feel legitimate enough to talk about these things. This and many more interesting things are coming our way, so tune in and become a part of the future.